seconds from now, I'll just jump into the game. Everyone can see that I've jumped into the game. So yeah, give it a little bit. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone, it's Manic Lord here, streaming Obelisk 8, top 4, and I've got Necromancy for Kids on with me. Thanks for joining in. Do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hello everybody.
So, I can see that Fusion is hosting and waiting for Moxies to join in. So we're going to. I've just stuck on the screen until we can. Well, until Moxie joins it, and then we see the screen to say accept another duelist. Come on.
I know that Moxies was eager for this duel, so I'm sure he's not intentionally stalling.
Yeah. So this ought to be a very well. So let me, whilst we are waiting, I'm going to shift over to where is it? Obelisk 8. So you're gonna have to bear with me a second. I should have got this ready just now, but it is what it is. Search tournaments. Go. So we're starting off with losers semi-finals. Starting with so I'm just going to so if you're on Goat format server, so yeah, come on Moxies. So we've got Chopper and AlephYa in winners semi-finals. Well, in the winners finals I should say, because here's the grand finals, and then I've got Fusion versus Moxies in the losers semis. Interesting note is that all 4 duelists have already got their world's invite, so whoever wins this gets an extra seeding point. What do you think, Necromancy for Kids?
Yeah, there was, as we mentioned in the chat before, there was 4 other people that didn't have their invites in the bracket, but unfortunately, those weren't the ones that won. Oh, it looks like we're starting now.
Yeah, we are in. So, I'm going to let everyone enjoy the duel, and I'm going to do a little bit of behind the scenes, get everything ready for, get everyone ready for when they are able to face up. Well, see if they're free for a chat afterwards.
Do you happen, just out of curiosity's sake, do you happen to know Fusion's country of origin?
No, but I'm assuming he's American too. Assume, but
Okay.
we can see that he's gone. Neko Valley, Summon Kaiku set 2. So for those that don't, I'm assuming that Fusion is on his version of Gravekeeper's Warriors. So he runs a small warrior package alongside Gravekeepers. Neko Valley obviously being quite good here.
Yeah, he did really good with that deck not too long ago.
Yeah, I think he won his invite with the deck, isn't it, or something like that, if memory serves me right.
I believe that might be true.
So
I'll even look up just
another solemn. Wow. Well, at least Moxies is safe in the knowledge that Kaiku won't be banishing any of his monsters, because Neko Valley stops both players from banishing either player's graveyards.
That's very true. In that way, it is sort of an anti-synergy with Necro Valley, but it's good to have essentially another Necro Valley in the form of Kaiku.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it's something that Mr. Big Noodle actually had some success with. I think it was a Patreon event or top 8. It's been a while now. Like there's been so many things going on.
Well, there's been a lot of tournaments lately, which is good.
Yeah, but this one's a bit anticlimactic because we know that everyone's got the invite, but at the same time, it's always good to see all these top players just duking it out, see what they bring to the table.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, knowing that they all have invites already, you know that these are already all good duelists, so they should be fun duels.
Oh, okay, so I got someone here to say, yeah, I'm not sure why people can't hear you, Necromancy. Well, because yeah, Chopper's saying that you're a bit softer. Maybe it's the volumes on OBS, but I tell you what, let me see. Sorry, folks. So, set monster from Moxies, which is
Am I
gonna
louder
get
now?
yeah, it's gonna get met by Nobleman of Crossout. Oopsie, sorry. Small technical hiccup there. I'm gonna go. So he's going to take 2,000 damage because Necro Valley's on the field, and so 32 total. So yeah, Gravekeeper is assailant when Necro Valley is face up on the field. It can change battle positions. So a lot of monsters. So the same reason why Tsukuyomi is good against a lot of decks. Gravekeeper's assailant takes full advantage. Oh wow.
Yep, and as we saw, it's really good versus goat tokens as well.
Yeah. So we're going to see if what Moxies is gonna do here. He's probably it's either yeah. I was gonna say it's Regeki break.
Yeah, it would have had to be something like that, because if it was a Solemn, you'd have to be thinking, I kind of want that Necro Valley gone, even if they have a second
Wow. But wow, that's pretty brutal. Like this is the awkward thing. Like yeah, Moxie scoops it up, recognizing that yeah, double solemn, the 5% chance of opening double solemn just swayed things into Fusion's favor. Having a solemn for both both Tsukuyomi and the Graceful Charity. So
Is my volume any better now, by the way?
yeah, we're gonna need people to feedback. So if you don't mind, people, if Necromancy for Kids is not loud enough, then say so in the chat. But yeah. Yeah, if you're using the chat, please let us know if our volume is too loud or too soft. And yeah, yeah, let me know if I need to turn down music as well, because I've got some music in the background running as we speak.
So it sounds like I'm it sounds like I'm really muffled.
That's really odd.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm playing through like your speaker or something.
That's probably why. I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop the audio. So I'm going to stop the audio right here. That's really odd. Maybe I have to. Maybe that might be a bit better now that I have to stop the music. So yeah, bit better, not equal. Yeah, I've got Chopper here giving us some feedback behind the scenes. Wow. So let me see if I can adjust. Because I got. Maybe it's because my volume's not too good. Maybe I'll switch over. If I switch over, then you might be able to hear a little bit better.
No Necro Valley for Fusion at the start here.
Yeah, I mean, standard set from Moxies, and yeah, obviously flips a scapegoat to protect his life points, given that he's up against all these aggro decks.
Usually you don't want to summon a Kaiku first turn if you can help it, just because usually they don't play Chaos the first turn, and it leaves them vulnerable to removal and such. But sometimes, depending on your hand, you just gotta. Like if he has, for instance, in his hand Gravekeeper's Assailant, it's not going to be very good to just normal summon.
So, yeah, sorry folks, it's gonna be I'm gonna put a speaker. So yeah, sorry about that. If Necromancy for Kids dropped off a little bit because I've changed the audio source, so hopefully you can hear him a bit better now. So yeah, if there's any, sorry, I cut you off just now, Necromancy, whilst I was swapping over the audio, and Spear Soldier is going to pierce over a goat token for 15 unless Moxies has Sakuretsu armor. So creature swap is going to come down, and Moxie is going to press for 29 from the looks of things.
Tomato swap's always a powerful move.
Yeah. This might be a bit rubbish. I might have to let's see if this is gonna help. So yeah, like I say, keep giving me feedback. Let me know if you can hear Necromancy for Kids a little bit better now.
Unlike with Assailant, Gravekeeper Soldier's effect always works, so that especially hurts in this situation. Except, of course, when you have something like Spy, which has more defense than the attack points.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think I figured something out. So I'm gonna give this a try. So fingers crossed, we should be able to hear Necromancy for Kids a little bit better. So I'm gonna reconnect here. So hopefully we can hear Necromancy for Kids. Maybe because I had him on desktop audio on mute. Torrential Tribute's gonna get blown away by Dust Tornado, followed up by Delinquent Duo. Let's see what gets hit. Ooh.
Oh, that's painful. That's painful. I don't know if the decree necessarily would do anything. I don't know what Fusion's build is currently. I know that Mr. Big Noodle played Royal Decree in his deck. So traps might not. Well, he did have Solemn Judgment, so never mind. I was thinking about Mr. Big Noodle's deck that used Royal Decree.
Yeah, I like Royal Decree against a lot of these decks, but at the same time, like if you're signing into decrees, in this scenario, it's weird because you're just getting walled by all these spies, and yeah, and then Royal Decree doesn't really okay, so now it's a bit too loud. So I might need
to. I was listening to it too. It sounds clear now. It's just like they said, a little loud.
Yeah, I'm having to half the volume now. So I'm actually going to listen on another device and get some headphones on. So I'm going to vanish for a little bit and see if I can grab me a pair of headphones and crash into. Crash.
I was about to say exactly. You probably want to try to crash in and start doing a little bit of damage to Moxies. Hopefully, it doesn't have Mirror Force. Sometimes people keep in Mirror Force with their Royal Decrees. Sometimes they don't. Just depends on the deck and people's preferences. Mirror Force is one of those cards that is one of the traps that's more likely to go off if you do draw it, because you can pretty much always activate on an attack versus something like Trenchel, which if you draw it late, you're not necessarily going to be able to activate it because your opponent already has all the monsters they need. Nice for... Oh, he's getting really aggressive attacking all the goats. I have a strong feeling that this might be a Solemn face down.
And there's that mirror
And
force.
there's the mirror force, yeah.
And so I am assuming that that probably was not Solemn face down then.
Either that or Fusion is just extremely patient.
Wow. So yeah, Nobleman's going to banish all those Magician of Faiths from Moxie's deck.
This could be pretty bad for Moxies here.
And there's the third scapegoat.
Probably grab Exiled Force. Yeah.
Yeah, Exile Force.
Not much else you can really choose in this situation.
Yeah, it's I'm just trying to think if... Okay, so Moxie's has only got... And that's a really nice top deck. Blade Knight's going to swing into a goat token.
See, Moxie's already used 2 Metamorphosis. I haven't looked at his deck, even though I literally gave it to him. I didn't even read any of the cards. But he might use 3 Metamorphosis. Some people do. Oh, well, that's a good combo as well.
Wow. And he's got 1 card in hand, so that actually... And he scoops it up. So we are going into a game 3, and it looks like that Moxie's... That Mirror Force probably was the real turning point of basically getting rid of all the Gravekeeper spies, walling Fusion's life points.
Yeah, back to being muffled for whatever reason.
Damn. Sorry.
It's alright. We can figure it out another time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just...
You can still hear me, it's just a little weird.
Yeah, I'll probably have to... Yeah, I'm just gonna... Let's see if I can... Yeah, so Fusion is...
That's an extremely strong start.
Yeah. Let's see if Moxies can capitalize on this.
Looks like not particularly, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but,
good old T-set
is still useful. Unlike in current format, you can actually T-set and go for a man. Maybe a Raigeki break here. Might be what Moxies was considering. And if that was the case, then maybe his patience paid off by getting Thunder Dragon here.
That's a pretty good pickup from Moxies.
Oh, dang. Graceful Charity.
Finally getting to resolve Graceful Charity. Finally getting to resolve Graceful Charity, pitch those Thunder Dragons. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Moxies were to be a bit more cautious. Oh, he just goes for it, because obviously Kaiku on the field, and a lot of the time, Thunder Dragon is your main light source.
Yeah. I have a feeling he probably has a way to get rid of this Kaiku. But yeah, he has to think about it. Let me think. Because I don't feel like if it was Scapegoat that you really would have necessarily been pausing on that attack. You probably would have just done it. Ah, there we go. Okay.
So
this is painful for Moxies so far.
Yeah, it's I mean, whilst it hurts to lose a Magician of Faith, I think if your Moxie's here, it's not so bad. Because
yeah, the Kaiku is at least gone now.
Yeah, and he's got lights in grave. Yeah, he's got lights in graveyard, so he should be all good.
By the way, just that nobody gets confused, when I said gave him his deck list, I didn't mean I created his deck for him. I have access to all the Obelisk deck lists.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant. I gave him the deck that he submitted.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, thankfully, at least for Moxies, all of the Nomans are gone, and Fusion doesn't have Magician of Faith to bring them back, so he can set a little bit more safely.
Yeah.
So there is still Exile Force that he could grab. This is, yeah, I was going to say it's rough, but now it's over.
Yeah, so that ring seeing it off. Yeah, so this is where, well, yeah, but all monsters. Yeah, so I think Moxies is probably more happy with the list that he just won with.
Yeah, probably. But, you know, even though he didn't win here, he still just won a tournament, so alongside his teammates.
Yeah.
That we hosted on the Jinzo and Tonic server, the 3v3 Euros.
So I'm going to, I'm going to hold on to the replay. Let me go over and record. So that's Fusion with his win. And oops, I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to quit. And AlephYa is up against Ch0pP.
Chopper was in the team Don't Chop Away, which also did pretty well in the same tournament. I don't remember if Fusion was in the tournament or not.
No, I don't think he was.
Yeah, next up is the Battle of the Germans. It seems like.
Yeah.
Chopper and AlephYa or AlephYa, I don't know how he likes it pronounced.
Don't worry, you get used to it when you. It's AlephYa, but you have to.
Okay. I apologize.
Nah, it's all good. All good. So, AlephYa going first. I will actually message AlephYa and say.
Very kind of them to wait for us, though.
So we are good to go. Wow. Hey.
Ooh. No backup to that, but Devious Alien is a surprisingly good monster. It's got 1700, so the opponent has to use the effect of a tribe-infecting virus, and even if there's, like in this instance, ramming Kaiku, they both get banished, so there's that upside to it. Kind of always trades with a card. And thankfully, since it was so early in the duel, Kaiku didn't have anything to banish when it attacked into Devious Alien either.
And there's that cold wave.
Ooh. I see.
AlephYa poking in for a big 1900s.
And that's fancy. You don't even have to main phase 1 breaker because you used the cold wave.
Oh wow, Chopper's running compulsory, which means.
Oh!
Wow.
You don't like to see that. Answer one with another. Oh. Well then. Guess we're going to find out if this duel is just about to end.
That's game.
Yeah. And that's the power of Cold Wave, folks. A lot of people said that it wasn't very good, and in most decks, it definitely isn't the greatest card, but if you build your deck time, combos require you to use your spells and traps, whereas in more modern Yu-Gi-Oh, you can just use your monster effects for everything. To follow up on you.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is actually his Monarch list because I didn't watch any of the other matches. And like I said, I forget everyone's deck pretty much as soon as I input it. But Either way, he got second place in one tournament with the Cold Wave Monarchs, and then he won first place with that same deck, slightly different, in another tournament.
So
Powerful start by Chopper.
and there's Sasuke Samurai number 4.
That punishes the Tribe Infecting Virus being discarded.
Yeah, I guess so.
Obviously, Sasuke Samurai number 4 isn't something you see every day, but we're seeing it more and more lately. It's a very interesting warrior. When it battles a monster, you get to flip a coin, and if you call it right, it will destroy the monster that it's battling before damage. So it's good to hit against flips. Ooh.
Yeah,
There we go. And that's why he attacked with the Sasuke Samurai first, so that he can actually get in damage if they chain the card.
Blade Knight's gonna come down and run over the Mobius. Unfortunately, Mobius, as with all monarchs, only has 1,000 defense. So it's gonna that Blade Knight's going to run it over very quickly.
Not very many tributes that are actually played in Go format that have decent defense, but some of them do. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of any that people play. I know at least that Blowback Dragon, I believe, has 1,300, so at least it gets
1,200.
It saves itself from 1,200. Okay, well, either way, protects itself from Tsukiyomi, but definitely not a Blade Knight.
Yep. So I wouldn't be surprised if that were a Gravekeeper Spy or a Shining Angel. But Mystic Tomato comes down.
That also works.
Are we going to see another Cold Wave?
If this is Stein, then we're definitely going to see a Cold Wave.
That would
or
be
something
bonkers
like that.
If I knew he was going to go for the Stein. Knew it. So let's see if AlephYa's got something to follow up. If
Chopper did show that he has the compulsory, so he could activate it in response. Or he might have Solemn here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like you say, compulsory Solemn would stop the Stein, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if what do you get off the Stein? You're probably likely to get off Ryu's. Well, you've got a bunch of options. You've got Ryu Senshi, if you're, or you just get a Cold Wave.
Yeah,
remember,
and
yeah, so
for
now,
anyone who, sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead. I was going to say that now that Cold Wave's been negated, it's no longer the start of main phase 1. So AlephYa cannot activate another copy of Cold Wave.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say too.
Yeah, I mean, this ruling actually came up the other day. But here's the annoying part. Blade Knight in 2000.
Yeah, so even if you grab Ryu Senshi, it's going to have to trade. So basically, he's going to have to get something big. Yeah.
Or that King Dragoon is not bad against Warrior. Although does Chopper have the Mill Force or Widespread Ruin?
Yeah, I don't know if he does play Widespread, but he certainly could.
And there's that Mill Force.
Yeah.
So Cyberstein's going to be a chump blocker. A bit unfortunate though, actually, because yeah, that Mobius hitting Book of Moon was a. But I guess yeah, I guess you go for it.
Oh, nice.
Wow. No, it doesn't get banished because Blade Knight's on 1,600.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that. So it's even. Yeah. Although, well, it would be risky to try to crash
I guess
Might see an
Chopper's gonna go for
exiled
a
force here, maybe. But
yeah.
if he was gonna do that, I don't know how much Chopper knows about
I mean,
it.
I Chopper does know this deck would run some sort. I'd assume that there'd be some sort of set monsters. So yeah, there's probably
I
not.
wasn't sure if he was thinking that that he might play flip monsters. I don't know if he does either, but I don't think he usually does on his lists.
Oopsie. I'm just going to excuse me. So premature burial is going to revive something.
Probably exiled, yeah. The safest bet as opposed to the flip.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so what's. Goodness. This is just game 2 after AlephYa went Cyberstein Snatch Steel. I reckon
Be tomato. Oh,
Warrior Lady is going to.
Gonna need a really good top deck here.
Yeah. That's not too
probably
shabby,
goes.
actually.
Yeah, probably goes for his own exiled force. Yeah.
Yeah. Go for exile force. Sack it off.
Solemn Judgment would pretty much guarantee the win there.
But Call the Haunted would achieve a similar thing, but unfortunately, Chopper does not draw into reinforcement of the army or a monster. And the Beast Soldier is going to swing for 1800 unless Chopper has got something to, answer it.
So at this point, depending on what Chopper has in his hand, this could be the end. Very close duel, though. 200 life points to 300 life points.
And not feeling.
Ooh. Solemn on the Cyberstein with only 200 life points. You hate to have to do that.
Yeah,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Thought so. So if AlephYa has his favorite anti-trap card, Royal Decree, which he doesn't, he will seal the deal. But yeah, compulsory. Compulsory. Unfortunately, Chopper could not draw a monster to finish off the game.
Curious what he did have in his hand then.
Yeah, I'm just going to save that replay. So I need to, whilst I'm at it, I'm going to update. But yeah, AlephYa winning this one. First one, Cyberstein plus Snatch Steel on an open board thanks to Cold Wave. Second one, Chopper just, Guys having having a quick chat. This one's actually gone pretty fast. I guess that's what happens. Moxies is now out of the tournament, unfortunately, which means that we're gonna see we've got AlephYa's deck, which is running Mystic Tomato, a Warrior Package, Cyberstein, and Mobius and Cold Wave. Chopper is running some sort of Warrior deck, and Fusion is running his version of Gravekeeper's Warriors. So the next match is going to be is going to be pure. Well, it's going to be warriors against Gravekeeper's warriors. So it'd be interesting to see how that match pans out. Although I reckon, I don't know how I feel about the matchup, because on the one hand, Gravekeeper's Spy is obviously good to slow down the aggro decks, but at the same time you get something silly like, yeah, you. That's a weird thing about the Gravekeeper's Gravekeeper warrior deck.
Yeah, I don't know if Chopper plays Chaos Sorcerer or like he's very heavily dedicated into the chaos. So if not, Necro Valley won't affect him so much, although there's still some cards that'll be hurt, like Premature Burial that we saw him using.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really. I mean, just for the sake of not disclosing too much information, we know that Chopper is running some sort of warrior deck. That's all that all that the viewers know at the moment. So yeah.
And again, as I'm talking about these decks, I really have no idea exactly what's in them. So
This is
I'm just making speculations.
There we go. So Chopper's happy with the voice now.
Nice.
Oh, I need to go in. Yes. So here's a weird dynamic about when you've. Okay, I'm going to actually pop there that you may go. Guys, I'm just dropping down a message. Chopper's going first. Chopper getting off to a really strong start.
Can never complain about starting with Pot of Greed.
The 15% chance it happens. Are we going to see Blade Knight set 4? No, he's got he had 6 in hand, so it has to be Blade Knight set 5.
That would be quite the move. Unfortunately for Chopper, not, but he does have Trap Dust Shoot.
Yeah, I don't hate this play. As I said a while back, there's sometimes when you're playing with warriors, you obviously have your silly good hands like Blade Knight set 5, but there are times where you just have to go Blade Knight set 1.
And appreciate Fusion, by the way, revealing for us what his hand is.
Interesting. Yeah, he's got Dust Shoot of his own. But here's a weird thing. What do you actually go for? Because at least Chopper's safe in the knowledge that he doesn't have to worry about. Well, the only card he really has to worry about is. Well, he's got Dust Shoot and Sakuretsu armor.
Yep. It's kind of a tough choice between Spy and the Blade Knight, but if you let them keep the Spy, it does let them get a real +1, and then they can end up killing your Blade Knight with an assailant anyway. So it's a tough choice, but in the end, probably the correct one.
I guess Chopper hits the Dust Shoot. Let's see the log. No, I'd assume that Chopper hits the Dust Shoot. I'm surprised he played it like that, because that Magician, yeah, I think it was 2. That explains a lot. You probably... I'm surprised he sends back Moth, but... Oh, okay, fine. He hit the Necro Valley. I'm surprised he goes for the Magician, but... Oh yeah, it makes sense, because in this scenario, this is where Dushu makes... Now that Fusion knows that Mirror Force is there, it's very hard to get more out of the Mirror Force.
Yeah, Mirror Force and Snatch, so it kind of forces the issue here
just set
with
the
the
Mirror
Sakuretsu
Force.
armor.
Set the Mirror Force, attack for 2,000. Well, attack for 1,000 effectively. Gain 1,000 for Snatch. So yeah, we knew there was a Rota, which is going to kill off the Blade Knight. I wouldn't be surprised if that was Sakuretsu armor, but if you're Chopper, you just normal. I think you normal summon the Mataz and just... Or that,
Yeah.
some judgment. Yeah, because you can't really afford to have Matazza sticking around. But now that makes Chaos live. But...
And it's going to end up doing 2,600 anyway, so not much of a difference.
Fusion top decks DD Warrior Lady. I would not be surprised if this got... If Mirror Force got rid of this. Or if Chop... interesting.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense not to attack there, because you could be just straight up dead if you end up getting this removed.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Chopper had some sort of solemn. Necro Valley's going to come down.
Surprised that he... Oh, well, I guess he didn't put it defense because Sasuke. That makes sense.
But reinforcement of the army is going to deal with the Warrior Lady.
Yep, still have the exiled.
I was going to say, does Chopper have the exiled? And clearly he does. So, set of cards.
Chopper definitely in a stronger position, but with Necro Valley on the field, it does make some of Chopper's cards dead draws. So, other than the face downs, could be completely useless cards in his hand.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the card in hand is actually a Chaos monster if it's being run. Chopper's gonna need a means to deal with that Necro Valley, and as we saw in the last game, Fusion is more than willing to negate whatever he sees as a threat.
It's a bit of a tough spot when your opponent has 5 face down cards.
But Gravekeeper Spy is going to do a good job of baiting up those back row. We're going to see.
Yeah.
Interesting. So he summons it in attack mode, which for me indicates some sort of way to play around the Mirror Force. Or you just hit the Mirror Force with a Dust Tornado.
Sniped.
Not really that. I'm not really too surprised that, because we knew that was the Mirror Force, because that was set next to Snatch Steel.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah,
not sniped.
It?
Skilled. a lot better knowledge than me.
But Sakuretsu armor is going to... I'm surprised Chopper let that one go through, because he could have gone Sakuretsu armor, the bigger monster, but I guess he didn't. Chopper didn't want to have the didn't want to see the spy go face down for whatever reason. And Pot of Greed's going to come in and get some more give Fusion some more cards.
It was looking really tough for Fusion here, but he's definitely taking back command of this game.
Yeah,
especially after that Pot of Greed.
Yeah, that Pot of Greed was quite big.
Of course, the real winning card so far was Dust Tornado.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, and there's the other Necro Valley. Yeah, at this rate, I think Fusion's got too many ways to deal with. I mean, my opinion on Gravekeeper's Warrior is that it doesn't. I guess the mini rotor engine does make sense. Wow.
Ooh, no response to that.
Just chain it. You might as well chain. He's got no response. Fusion's got no response.
Yeah, he doesn't. He wouldn't have had a way to activate anything either way.
Just attack. Protect your monster. Yeah, that heavy storm was really, really good. Obviously, getting Chopper right back into the game.
And here we find Sasuke Samurai number 4 in attack mode. Very scary monster. We'll find out if we actually have to do the flip.
Yeah, so Chopper has probably got something. He's deciding whether he wants to bank on the coin flip.
Could be a Book of Moon.
So Chopper's going to declare. Let's see. Oh, I had the feeling he's going to go heads. Does he get the heads though? This is the thing that bugs me about Dueling Book.
Ooh,
I knew that was going to happen.
tails.
I knew that was going to happen.
Thing
But
is,
Chaos
though,
Monster's alive,
well,
and
go
there's no
on.
more Necro Valley.
Yeah.
There's no more Necro Valleys, if I'm not mistaken. All 3 are in the graveyard, so... Yeah, Chopper does not... Chopper's gonna need to draw a monster sooner or later. Although
Yeah,
Chaos Source...
yeah.
Blade
Okay,
Knight,
that
take
works.
that. Blade Knight's gonna run over the... for 500. Spy.
Yeah, probably Spy.
Yeah, this is the weird bit when you face Gravekeeper Warrior is that you don't know whether you want to keep in Nobleman the Crossout because it's only good against Gravekeeper's Spy, really, and if it's being run Gravekeeper's Guard. So Chopper deciding that I'm not going to chance running into a Spy, and the other plus point, we saw the Magician of Faith in Chopper. This is game 1. So one of the pros is that now we can actually get back Heavy Storm if required. So Heavy Storm is actually going to be resolving Heavy Storm. Well, resolving any one of the spell cards in the graveyard is going to make a huge difference for Chopper. He's got Reinforcement of the Army, Snatch Steel that we knew from earlier to seal the Blade Knight, MST. So yeah. Charity.
Oh, nice top deck. We just saw that Fusion is still playing with Nomans, but he did see Magician of Faith being used game 1. Well, I guess this is still game 1.
Yeah.
So never mind. I thought this was game 2. Just ignore that statement. Of course, he has Noman of Crossout.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Magician of Faith in main deck Warrior in some respects, because like, obviously if we take our mind back to James Ark, he ran Flip Warriors all that time back, so it's not a brand new concept, but maybe you could fit in Tsukuyomi as well somehow, and you'd have something that actually is not too bad in the mirror match, but I guess you're just adding a card in your hand that you don't really want, because Blade Knight thrives on having one or fewer cards in your hand.
Yeah, well, it's good for removal for a lot of aggro decks. It is also, as you said, anti-synergy with Blade Knight.
So, Fusion not scared about Chaos Monsters, because Kaiku is stopping the Chaos Monsters. He's stopping Chopper from being able to use Call of the Haunted and revive any one of those monsters that got banished.
There's that Magician of Faith. I guess that is another card that's stopped by Necro Valley is Faith.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So I'd be curious to see if Chopper keeps them in when they do siding or not.
But that's really, really strong. I mean,
Yeah, Pot into Graceful.
and but one of the plus points of having Magician is that you get the ability to run book. Well, it's not fantastic, but you're able to have Book of Moon. So you've got the synergy there of being able to use Book of Moon to set your Magician. Probably if you're a Chopper right now, you're probably digging for a Nobleman of Crossout, which, given that you've got 11 cards left, Blade Knight's going to attack. Just
see, it looks like there's potentially still Mirror Force and Torrential for fusion.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Chopper has a Book of Moon set.
Yeah, that would be really good alongside the Faith. Or in case Fusion, I guess actually Fusion already used rings, so never mind on that.
Of course, he's gonna try and press for game by flip-selling the spy and something else out.
So we see here that it was the correct move by Chopper way earlier to not attack into that face down.
So now Chopper has exactly 200 tribute, I think. Or Ring. Ring would be nice to seal draw. But yeah, Fusion just attacking into the Faith. Yeah, that Sekuretsu discard ended up being Sekuretsu armor discard. Chopper had the correct read to see that it was spy. But I guess whatever was in the hand was more important. Yeah. And he says that he's misplayed.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to consider for the sighting here. There's a lot of cards on both sides that maybe aren't so good, or maybe are really good.
Yeah.
We'll have to find out how they end up going about it.
Well, Matassa Zappa, I think, is definitely going out because it's a small monster.
Doesn't run over any of their monsters really. Really good for if their field's empty, but you're not gonna want to bank on them having an empty field.
Yeah, but this is crazy though. We're not seeing any. Well, I guess Chopper's deck is still meta to some extent, but yeah, I guess what I underestimate is that Necro Valley is decent because it boosts the Gravekeeper monsters by 500, so your 1500 monsters become 2000 beaters effectively, and that gives you plus points against warriors. But you need to draw into the Necro Valley, which is that's always been. I think that's probably always been the issue with Gravekeepers until Gravekeeper's Command got released many years later, and we saw what impact that had, where a YCS had Gravekeepers taking first, second, and third place.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, Fraser Smith's team. I think it's Fraser Smith, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's going several years later.
So we'll see how this goes about. If Chopper ends up still setting, okay, just the set here. Suggests to me that he probably has some more aggressive removal monsters.
Yeah, so Fusion going. I assume that the Dust Tornado Snipe on Ring was lucky. So are we going to see something from Dust Tornado is
Oh,
going to
well.
reduce damage by 500 and get rid of the Necro Valley.
Not bad.
Oh yeah, I forgot that both players have got Trap Dust Shoot, so I wouldn't be surprised if both players sided those cards out. So just against decks that set their hand, it's just not very good, obviously. So
Be interesting to see how this pans out. Gravekeeper, Spear Soldier, not great when Necro Valley is not on the field unless the opponent's playing a lot of defensive monsters, but could be something like Chopper's finding himself in the situation where Sasuke number 4 is not so great. Oh, well, here we go. A lot of things to get grab here. Probably Blade Knight. Oh, Zambira.
yeah,
That's decent for running over spies when they don't
as
have
long as the
Necro
spy
Valley.
isn't boosted by Necro Valley, but it does come with the downside that it can't attack directly.
Yeah, and that way it's kind of you can only get rid of one, and then it's already going to have its flip effect, so it's not the
So
greatest, but still.
Exiled Force is going to deal with Zambira the Dark. For me, this suggests that Chopper's got monster heavy hand. For him to, or he's scared of Dust Tornado being a set card. I was going to say that if Fusion wanted to attack over the Zambira, then he can always crash his monster into the Zambira, and because the Zambira destroyed the monster in battle, so it takes. And there's that Dust Tornado. Dust Tornado being a decent card against aggro decks. Blow away their defensive cards. So Chopper is going to press
No
for damage,
discard here.
but gets
Okay.
but Solemn Judgment's going to negate it. So playing Protect the Monster strategy. So now he sets a card knowing that Dust Tornado is no longer an issue card.
This could potentially go very bad for Chopper, though.
I guess no, it's not. Yeah. So he's got Zambira and that's it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that were Magician of Faith, or it could even be DD Warrior Lady.
Like, yeah, it could be Warrior Lady.
If you're
If it was Sasuke, you'd probably leave it in attack because it doesn't activate effect if it's face down.
Yeah, that's because Sasuke Samurai number 4, despite its wording, has the same timing for its activation as Mystic Swordsman level 2 or Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. So it's one of those things where
might even confuse some people that play current Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I believe Lightsworn Aaron has the same wording, but still works differently.
Yeah, works like Droroid.
Yeah.
So, Chopper. Sorry, I got mixed up for a second. Chopper playing around Trap Dust Shoot, even though it shouldn't be. I'd say it shouldn't be kept in, but Chopper still plays around it, which I don't think you can fault for.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen them do it, you might as well.
Yeah. Exalt Force is going to deal with the set monster, and we are going to see the Snatch Steal. So, and Sekatsu Armor is. So that's not too bad. You basically made your Snatch Steal was a 2-for-1, but Chopper is lower on life. So let's see how he will navigate those back row.
Yeah, the good news for Chopper is that usually these Gravekeeper decks don't have really explosive turns. So even though it's at 2300, he's probably not going to lose 2300 in one turn if they don't have any monsters already.
So what's he gonna hit? Secret's armor. And there's the other
Oh,
spy,
another
which
faith.
I thought he was gonna have. But yeah, that breaker picking off the Secret's armor could help Fusion in the long run. Even if Chopper's going to get a +1, I know likely he could go Rotor. He could go Rotor, could go Pot. And he does opt to go for the Pot of Greed. So Chopper likely to... He just goes for it this time around. Zombie in the Dark is going to attack. And Secret's going to meet Secret's armor. Probably if you're Chopper, you're going to...
Oh,
it's not a bad
interesting.
hit. You're probably going to... Well, which... You're probably going to drop the BLS.
Pre-banishing his monster.
Oh, Chaos Sorcerer. He keeps in Chaos Sorcerer. Interesting. But I guess...
So he does play Sorcerer. Oh, this is painful. This would be exact lethal.
Yeah, Chopper having to mirror force his own Chaos Sorcerer. But that does give him a Dark in the graveyard.
Yeah, that's the upside here.
Yeah, he needs to have BLS. No, he's just going to go for it.
That spy, yeah. Interestingly, just a quick side thing, there was someone that used Blade Knight alongside Rush Recklessly to take out spies in the 3v3 tournament.
From Beast Beats?
I don't remember who it was, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm going to put the co-commentator is... Wow. So... Yeah, so... Gravekeeper...
Really painful here.
That's very awkward because Dust Tornado, it would have been... Okay, fine. So Blade Knight still shifts to defense. But...
Yeah, though, doesn't really matter in this situation. And here's, well, I mean, we're seeing even more with Necro Valley, but we're seeing why Spy is such a powerful card in this format because it's just walling off for so many turns. And with Necro Valley out, while it's still there, Chopper can't even summon BLS to get rid of them. And if he had another sort, he couldn't do that either.
Wow, he's gone for discard Heavy Storm. Wow.
That suggests he probably doesn't have BLS in hand.
Probably going... I'm surprised he just discards... I guess low in life. Probably has a Dust Tornado. Dust Tornado Warrior Lady? Wow.
Who knows, could even be Third Faith.
Oof, that would be...
I've seen people run 2 in Warriors before, but I've never seen them run 3, so but who knows?
Yeah, so Chopper needs to find a way out to deal with this Necro Valley.
Sorry.
Otherwise he's going to deck out faster.
Has to find an out to these spies in some way.
That's not a bad start. But does he have Ninja... Well, Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke would be the...
Yeah, that would be the ideal here. If not, having to do Sasuke number 4, not as quite good of a Sasuke in the situation. Because he could end up taking a boatload of damage to try to destroy them with its effect. But who knows, maybe Chopper is feeling extremely lucky today. Oh, he's going for it.
For me, that indicates he must have. Yeah, I reckon he's probably still got. Yeah, he's still got Solemns. But Fusion still has 3 Solemns. Oh wow, he's going for. So yeah, as I suspected, Solemn is going to. It's gonna. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if nope, he lets it go.
Definitely wouldn't use Torrential here because those spies are the only thing keeping you alive.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough trade in cards there.
But now those Gravekeeper spies are going to be able to run over. Well, yeah, they're going to be able to run over. But yeah, Kaiku's not. Kaiku is going to attempt to run over. But is likely.
Oh yeah, because the spies are boosted by Necro Valley, so he could attack over if they wanted to.
Yes.
Yeah, Kaiku is much preferable here.
Yeah, Chopper is. Let's see. I think Breaker's gone. Is Breaker gone? No,
For
not
Chopper, no. So there's not a lot of outs, honestly, for Chopper in this situation.
Yeah, it needs
until he can get rid of Necro Valley at the very least.
Yeah, I think that maybe that Heavy Storm discard might come to bite him in the long run. Those Gravekeeper spies just sitting pretty.
Probably is DD Warrior Lady face down, considering he hasn't flipped it or anything.
Ooh, Chopper has made his Blade Knight 1600. So will.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Singh is going to lock down. Damn.
I was thinking that's what he had. Might have tried to bait the attack from the Gravekeeper spy and then set from hand with Dust Tornado.
Nah, I don't think he's. If he had, I think he's got an extra. I think Chopper's got too many monsters in his hand for him to.
Yeah, based on the fact they didn't set, that probably is the case.
Yeah. He could just.
Yeah. Or he thinks that it's 2,000. Okay, never mind. He knew.
I would not. Yeah, Chopper's already used MST. Heavy Storm is gone. All 3 Dust Tornadoes are gone. The only card left is Breaker.
He could use a Torrential to possibly get rid of these spies.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't want to. But if you had to, that would be a way to possibly win.
Yeah, so Fusion or Sakuretsu Armor is going to deal with the. But that spy. Oh, okay. Kaiku's. No, Blade Knight's going to attack. And White Spirit Rune is going to nix it. Yeah, you Chopper, you got to attack.
Yeah, and even if he used compulsory there, because widespread ruin doesn't target, you end up losing a monster anyway.
Yeah. Just fire off the duo.
We're really low on life points now, though.
Well, at least that gets rid of a Necro Valley.
True.
So once that third Necro Valley
That's
goes
all three, yeah.
poof, so Ch0pP is just having to play the stall game. Widespread Ruin is going to deal with a Blade Knight. Let's have a look.
3 cards left in deck, so
Use
it's
Charity.
possible that he even just decks out here.
Yeah.
If Torrential is on the bottom, if he plays it, I know some people decide not to play Torrential. Then he would end up losing because he wouldn't be able to activate it before his next turn where he can attack.
Just summon the monster. Just get as much damage as you can for when you can press for the chunk of damage.
But Chopper must have some sort of answer here, otherwise he would have conceded.
Yeah, it's exactly Breaker and what's his face? Breaker and BLS.
Breaker's a good start. I guess if he has, if he has BLS as well, that's good for him. Let's see.
Wow,
All
hits
right.
the Solemn.
Ooh, this
So
is potentially very bad.
Ch0pP has no more Solemn Judgments, if I'm not mistaken. He's
Let's
just gonna have
see.
to go
That
for it.
is 3. Yeah.
He's just gonna have to go for it. Just flip some.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have much of a choice anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if that's torrential, if that is torrential,
Yeah, that would be game if that was the case. Ooh.
Call the Haunted.
Yeah, but can't even revive it because it wasn't properly summoned.
But Call the Haunted would be nice to revive the sorcerer, but yeah, Ch0pP just scoops it up because that MST hitting the Solemn Judgment ended up being the deciding factor. But I think no, it's not a lucky MST snipe. I think Ch0pP discarding Heavy Storm kind of hurt in the long run. I think personally.
Yeah, it was so long ago that I don't remember what he actually ended up saving by discarding it.
Yeah.
But it we saw here the power of Spy and Necro Valley for sure.
Against warriors specifically.
Yeah.
So AlephYa is either going to be Gravekeeper's Warriors, but Fusion has to win 2 games in a row, or AlephYa's mishmash with a Warrior Engine, Mystic Tomato, Sangan, Cyberstein, Mobius, and Cold Wave. Crazy.
It's crazy stuff. You know, though, it's very nice that we've been having so many decks that you wouldn't consider before to be meta that have been topping tournaments lately.
I think it's debatable because I think the way AlephYa and Delinquent build their decks, they've built it in a way that works for them. I think that's probably the most important. They've picked up on the metagame trend. They've just jumped on that train, and they've done pretty well to make their metagame reads.
Yeah, I think for sure their decks are. I wasn't trying to imply that their decks were badly built or something like that. I think that they did pick them well for fighting the current meta. But I just meant in general because we also saw FLC. They also got a non-standard deck. I'll say is the term as their first place as well. Yeah, just nice to see people playing cards that we don't see usually played very much.
Don't forget our good old friend Petin the Dark Clone.
Yeah. Oh, looks like they have their game up.
So, I mean, it's funny because, yeah, I go to I'm I go to the same locals as Ginger and Tonic and Rust, and it's funny because like Ginger and Tonic really likes Petin the Dark Clown in Monarchs, and it's like everyone's like, oh, you're playing this bad card. It misses timing in Monarchs. Yada yada yada. And then AlephYa goes and plays Petin the Dark Clown.
Yeah, doesn't really care. It's like, I mean, I talked to AlephYa a lot about this, where people kind of assume automatically that a card's bad because in a vacuum it's bad, but you put certain cards in a deck to fill a niche, not so much that you're playing a card to build completely around it. Like the only deck that P10 really can be played in is a Monarch deck. And in that situation, it's not a horrible card.
Yeah, it's ironic that the poster card. I mean, the poster card for missing the timing because Petin is a when you can effect, so it needs to be the last thing that happens is it going to the graveyard. So, say for example, you activate Grace for Charity. The last action you take is discard cards from your hand to the graveyard under under most circumstances. So yeah, so that works. But obviously, if you tribute summon using Petin as the tribute fodder, because the last thing to happen is the summon of the monster. Unfortunately, Petin misses its timing, but it's there as a wall. It effectively serves the same purpose as Gravekeeper Spy for a lot of things. The way I see it.
Yeah, and you can get P10's effect off of things like Graceful Charity, and if the opponent duos you. So there's these situations where it's better in some ways than some cards. And as AlephYa also told somebody, it's like if you tribute a recruiter, it quote unquote misses timing because it doesn't get its effect when you tribute it. So it's kind of the same idea as that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, the recruiter's already served its purpose, so you don't mind. I guess you don't mind tributing it, and it so happens that
Exactly.
Petin is a dark monster. So if you're running light monsters, oh, interesting. So yeah, I guess you gotta go for that. Yeah, if you're running light monsters, that gives you BLS access. But anyway, that's whether that's
Surprised that Fusion didn't banish the Assailant.
no, you can't. Necro Valley.
Oh, Necro Valley. Sorry, I was so distracted by talking about something completely unrelated that I didn't even realize Necro Valley was on the field. My bad.
Yeah, and this is it's not anti-synergy. It's like it's good to have two of them on this. Like, okay, you can't banish Kaiku, but who cares? You're not reviving anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, and Kaiku is gonna bite the dust. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a dust tornado to blow that back away.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
Opting to not do so.
And we see here the power of Solemn and Trap Dust Shoot, because even though Fusion started the duel by paying 4,000 life points, he's still in a really good position here.
Yeah, good old freezing at its best, where Trap Dust Shoot, you know exactly what's in the opponent's hands, so you know exactly what you need to negate with the Solemn Judgment, unless the
Exactly.
opponent has some silly hand which doesn't care that you got those 2 cards. Then yeah, you're in a really good spot in that case. But yeah, it's almost like Zoo, good old Zoo beatdown that AlephYa has got here. If you think about it, he's running Abyss Soldier. He's got Gorilla. Oh my god, what's but all these decks,
Ooh.
like, yeah, I think unless I are we gonna see the Dust Tornado here? MSC
Oh,
Rex.
that's painful.
Yeah. So Fusion still has got to win not just this match, but he's got another match that he has to win on top of that. Because he's coming on the loser's side.
He's definitely showing a good start to that run, though.
Yeah, you open Solemn, Dust Shoot, Necro Valley to shut off the Premature Burial. So I reckon that first set card could have been the Premature Burial, and AlephYa must be fully aware that Fusion is running Dust Tornado in the main deck. So I wouldn't be surprised if he actually set a card as bait, because he was dead anyway under Necro Valley, so you might as well set it and try and bait out that Dust Tornado.
It'll be interesting, though. I think a lot of it will be based off of how they side here, because there's still 2 more games. And if AlephYa sides well, then he gets lucky, especially because he's going first and he has Cold Wave, that could completely shut down a deck like Fusion's.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point, because you play Cold Wave and set anything. Good old Cold Wave set monster from Synchro Cat era, where you set a monster, activate Cold Wave, and then you follow up with Summon a Monk plus spell card, or if you have Gravekeeper's Spy set and Rescue Cat in hand, you just flip summon. Yeah, that's where Cold Wave was quite ridiculous.
As you mentioned earlier, though, and as we're seeing, it's still a decent card in Go format, though, in the correct deck.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it just proves it. Are we going to see Cold Wave here? Because if we do, and he sets Tomato, that Tomato's not dying to Nobleman or Cross out, and if you attack over the Tomato, Cyberstein's going to hit the board and deal at least, going to get 4,900 points of damage on board, or yeah, it depends on the situation, but I wouldn't be 4,900 points of damage.
Oh, he's just main phasing first turn.
I think you go into Ryu Sensh. Like he goes into King Dragoon.
Potentially not very good if they have Spy plus Necro Valley.
Not just that. I mean, we know that Fusion is running Widespread Ruin.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I mean, it's actually awkward to side in Widespread Ruin, because AlephYa is going to be. We know that AlephYa is going to be bringing in Royal Decree against these sorts of decks, because he said it so many times that I will always want to, if my deck can, I always want to have Royal Decree, because Royal Decree just shuts down a lot of all these trap-based decks.
Yeah, AlephYa and his brother do know very well the power of Royal Decree.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that, because Kaiku's going to get hit by Pocket Moon. Are we going to see the Royal Decree? There it is. Ruin.
Yep. So this is where, because if he had summoned something like, even though he had the decree, if he had summoned something like Oz, the opponent could still steal it. with
Um,
Snatch Steal, but they can't do that on
and
King Dragoon.
Mobius, AlephYa not taking any chances and flipping Rodakri in the end phase, blowing away Dust Tornado and Mirror Force. And okay, Fusion could he can technically activate Dust Tornado, but it will do nothing because of the decree on the field.
Yeah.
So wow. But Fusion has a perfect out to the King Dragoon.
I would just need something to get rid of this Mobius, because otherwise it's gonna eat away at him real quick.
Yeah, so you can see that because he sided in Decree, you can see Book of Moon's actually come in, even though Book of Moon is debatable because you're seeing Gravekeepers, but because you're running Decree, that almost forces you to play cards like Book of Moon, Enemy Controller, Scapegoat, basically
Yeah, you
spell
have to have. Yeah, you have to have some way to still protect your life points. Otherwise, it's a very, very risky game.
So it does. But here's the thing: Sangan is going to be a floater. So unless Fusion can flop a Blade Knight onto the field with Snatch Deal in hand, that's probably going to be exact game. Well,
yeah, and here's again another situation where I was mentioning that decks like Gravekeeper Warriors don't really have explosive turns. So even though like in a Chaos Warrior deck, he could probably summon DLS and be in a really good spot, but he doesn't have that option.
Pot of Greed is going to, and Heavy Storm's going to make sure that there's no Book of Moon to protect life.
I guess this game then.
Which was not. Yeah, and Gorilla's going to swing for big 2000. So on to game 3.
Very, very strong plays by AlephYa. Unfortunately for Fusion, there's just nothing you can really do in that scenario unless you had Necro Valley plus Spy, like I mentioned before. There's not really a lot. And plus, you had the Mobius anyway. So even if that was the case, still get rid of Necro Valley.
Yeah, so it's a combination of, it's a bunch of things. It's a combination of Cold Wave or Royal Decree plus Mobius. And we saw how powerful Mobius was over the weekend, where the winning team just sided in Mobius and absolutely wrecked all their warrior matchups, and included Bottomless Trap Hole. So, yeah.
Bottomless Trap Hole.
Yeah, it's a funny one because it's one of those cards which I really liked as a one-off tech option, but back when Goat Control was the deck, everyone thought, oh, we got to play Goat Control. Yeah, I liked it a lot because you snap away Breaker or Airnight Parshath, but against, obviously bring it in against Warriors, they have a lot of, they've got a lot of monsters that get hit by a Bottomless, so it makes sense to bring it in against them for when your Noble Mill crossouts aren't doing much. AlephYa just going to press for 2200 total because Snatch Shield is going to bump up Fusion's life by 1000. So I wouldn't be surprised if that will Gravekeeper Spy, which makes things a bit awkward because AlephYa needs to have Noble Mill crossout, and Graceful Charity might be the way for him to get to the Noble Mill crossout.
Or possibly Mind Control. I don't know if he plays that. But sometimes decks that can OTK play it. And of course against things like Chaos Turbo and that.
Yeah. So AlephYa opting to discard Book of Moon and one other card. I'm a bit surprised because he must value something. He must value the other 3 cards in his hand better to discard both of those cards.
Yeah, if it's Spy face down, though, there isn't really much that either of those are going to help with.
No, I mean, Book of Moon would be nice because Book of Moon would stop Fusion from gaining life points. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
worst
guess
case
it
scenario.
depends again what other cards he has in his hand. But he definitely wouldn't be in a better position except for they wouldn't be getting life points.
Yeah, I think.
And plus, Kaiku can always just get killed by a Blade Knight off the top, so there's that too.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess Fusion doesn't want to get hit. I think Fusion's must have a monster heavy hand, and he rips the Liquid Duo,
Ooh,
which will get rid of Tribe Infecting Virus, which would have been insane. But
yep. So that's why it's really hard because it's easy to use hindsight, but
yeah,
that tribe would have been really good. Both of those cards
but
would have been really powerful. I think. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Again, hindsight, but possibly discarding the Sangan would have been the play, and then just summon tribe or something like that.
Yeah, maybe, but hindsight's always nice. But I think I don't even know whether Cold Wave is that useful because I know that Fusion runs trap cards, but you don't have a means to be able to take advantage of Cold Wave. If that makes sense. So I don't
True,
know.
it's kind of like blanking a turn, though.
Yeah, like you might as well have discarded the Cold Wave and just.
Yeah, that's true as well. Could have
Well,
also gone for the cold wave. And again, we're talking in hindsight after seeing what happened, so it's easy to make a comment after you know what the result would have been.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't know that he was holding on to Cold Wave, but maybe Cold Wave might have been the right discard because we probably got a good feel that Fusion has a whole bunch of monsters in hand, unless he suddenly sets cards in his. I think if
We
you're
haven't.
AlephYa, you just Book of Moon, run over. Okay, he's letting it through.
Did we see what the set monster was on AlephYa's side?
No, we don't know what it is.
Could be. We saw that he played Cyberjar. Could also be DD Assailant because there would be no reason to have it in attack mode, really. It's tough. Very tough situation. And again,
Breaker.
the power of Gravekeeper Spy.
Breaker coming down, going to attempt to break the Snatch Steel, but Book of Moon is going to stop that. That's why he discarded the Book of Moon. Now we know. Because he has another one.
He already had it. Yeah,
So
even
now,
if Kaiku got removed there, you would have been fine with him not gaining any more life points.
yeah, that duo actually really hurt the AlephYa. And now, are we going to see a repeat of what happened over the weekend where, what's it called? I'm going to see what happened was Insidious was facing Jonathan Labonte, and Labonte stole Gorilla for 9 turns. So what ended up happening was that Insidious ended up having
Serpent face down.
16,000 life points, 16,200 life points because the gorilla stuck around for 9 turns.
Yeah, I've been in that situation before when I was acting as eliminator for the academy, where I had a top decked snatch and I was dead if I didn't use it. So I grabbed the opponent's Blade Knight, but I was stalled for like 10 turns.
Oof.
So it was a really slow game, but because they used Solemn, the life points went back down real fast, and I was still able to win in the end. So they're definitely winnable games. Ooh, let's see what
Brain
happens
control
here.
is going to come down, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mobius is going to hit the board. Doing the same as what he did against Chopper, which is steal the monster, attack with the monster, and that's why, because you want to bait out the mill force. So that brain control has actually evened up the playing field in terms of cards, because now AlephYa is going to be drawing to 3 cards during his turn.
Yep. So I'd assume that it wasn't. Well, it's possible that it wasn't Mobius then, because even if you're not going to attack, I mean, like you could have summoned it and then, like, yeah, because if it was a battle trap, you could have destroyed it with Mobius. It's tough. But if they had Book of Moon, for instance, that would have sucked.
Wow. Another brain control. But is going to get. And gorillas are going to crash.
Trade.
So I'm reading that as a Mobius in hand. It says it's going to bring AlephYa down to 900. Brain control would be pretty darn busted in this position. But AlephYa is just going to set a monster.
Possible
going to
game
slam
here.
down. AlephYa admits defeat, but that's only game 1.
First match.
First match, I mean. So I'm going to record that. So Fusion getting off to a really good start. So yeah.
Fusion.
I mean,
Fusion showing definitely that his deck is strong. And again, the power of Necro Valley and the power of Spy really on display here.
Yeah, but that duo ripping out the tribe for me was the real turning point.
Yeah, that was an extremely game-changing moment there.
Yeah,
Because if he didn't have an answer to the tribe there, besides, of course, the card that he did use, that could have been very, very bad for Fusion.
Yeah, I mean, and it so happened that Fusion was able to play out of his monster logged hand, managed to get a few traps to protect what he had. And we're going to see a repeat of match 1, where AlephYa summons an assailant and backs up with a back row, and Kaiko is going to trade with the DD assailant. Excuse me, getting my monsters mixed up for a second.
And it's nice. The FLC winning deck also used a DD Assailant. So we're seeing DD Assailant getting some time in the sun lately.
Yeah, I guess if Earth is not a bad, we know that Earth monsters are pretty good.
Yeah, on its own, Earth and Dark are probably the strongest attributes when you don't take into account Chaos, of course.
Yeah, I mean, wow, embodiment of a
Oh yeah,
So
embodiment of Apophis.
So that's going to give AlephYa a monster, but don't forget that we are playing with he's going to swing for 35 and then break the back row, and now Fusion can't set any cards. So if that was a mirror force, a solemn judgment.
That suggests to me that Fusion had a very weak hand.
Another monster heavy hand.
Yeah, having to just set Solemn by itself, that means he's got to have like basically nothing to set. Not that he could set right now anyway.
Yeah, but it's like you say, this is one of the problems that you have when you're facing these You can't play. No, you can't play. You can't play duo. Cold Wave.
Yeah. That's one thing
So
people
AlephYa
forget.
is
It
just
stops from
reminding
activating spells too.
reminding Fusion that Cold Wave is active. So I think, yeah, it's just
Could have even been worse for Fusion anyway if they used Duo in that situation, if they would have been allowed to.
yeah, because that would no, but the Member Breaker's lost its counter. So
True. Well, it would really do. Yeah, it wouldn't change too much, I suppose.
And the thing here is that Kaiku is not really going to do much. And you can't set anything else. So Gorilla would be an...
But yeah, Embodiment of
Burial
Apophis.
Gorilla.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Embodiment of Apophis is a card you don't really see very often. I think it's the only trap monster in Go format.
Yep.
And then Go format, they also still take up a spell trap zone. Not that it's relevant in this situation, but 1600, 1800. So it's good tribute fodder and decent stats for what it is.
So AlephYa knows that Delinquent Duo is in hand, so he's gone ahead and set 2.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about forgetting that they can't use that during Cold Wave.
Ooh, AlephYa. If I've understood this correctly, Fusion admitted defeat. What did I miss? Did I miss a trap card?
I believe that is the case. There was Ring of Destruction
That's
on Blade Knight.
Yeah, Ring of Destruction Blade Knight's going to seal the deal.
So Fusion didn't have a very strong hand, and AlephYa had pretty strong hand themselves with the surprise Embodiment of Apophis.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I guess it fits in with the theme of having a zoo.
I suppose that's true. But yeah, the reason that you would play it is for tribute fodder.
Yeah. Well, Mobius, probably the... It's funny, because at one stage, obviously, we're all on... A lot of players on the Chaos Turbo bandwagon. Then Warriors adapted, and Warriors adapted their deck to be able to basically destroy Chaos Turbo in a lot of in game 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of that, we're seeing all these decks trying to out aggro all those warrior decks.
Yeah.
So Exile, I wouldn't be surprised if Exile Force comes down and gets rid of Gravekeeper Spy.
Ooh, nice. You don't like it if you're Fusion, unless you got another spy. Then you're pretty okay with that.
Rota into, well, but that Kaiku is going to stop AlephYa from using Exiled Force again in the future.
No, this time he did forget to use the effect.
Wow. Okay. Amazing.
So this time it wasn't me forgetting, it was him forgetting.
So Ring of Destruction is going to blow away the Berserk Gorilla.
This is a hard deck to side against, though, to be fair.
Yeah, Book of Moon is not going to do much in this scenario. AlephYa just playing the Book of Moon.
There we go.
So
Now I got it.
Kaiku can't change his battle position again. And now that Heavy Storm is gone, Fusion has decided to set his hand, which makes a lot of sense, and you wouldn't be surprised if there was some Judgment in the mix. And that's going to compound.
So this might be pretty quick.
That's going to compound AlephYa's issues.
Oh, there we go.
And yeah, just scoop it up.
AlephYa likes to use some cards that people don't usually see, but probably not Karibo in this deck.
So yeah, I think I mean when Gravekeeper, when you don't see the Gravekeeper engine, you do see your warrior engine, and as we know, warriors are generally bigger normal summons, so that's 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 why we're seeing a lot of warrior players topping, because they end up, not only are they really good players, but they get those really good draws that everyone hates when they're facing warriors, where they just top deck like crazy. Yeah. So AlephYa opening up with Duo. And that's a really big hit. Necro Valley goes. What else is Fusion going to pitch? Although, I guess Necro Valley isn't very good against AlephYa's deck, just in some ways.
Yeah, I don't know if he plays BLS, but it would be good against any revival that he's using for tribute fodder.
Yeah, it doesn't really. That's the thing, though. He never really. I mean, yeah, he does. His main idea is brain control something, sack it from Mobius, be done with it. Fusion having a bunch of back row to support what is likely to be Gravekeeper Spy.
Yeah, we'll see how AlephYa answers that.
Ring of Destruction is going to come down and block the Breaker, so Breaker trades with the Ring of Destruction. Nobleman is going to
nice.
be met by Solemn Judgment.
So that's
surprising.
most assuredly a spy then.
I guess if you're well, it'd be interesting to see if AlephYa had the Mobius just now, because yeah, it'd be interesting because
I wonder what AlephYa is thinking about. Curious.
And there's that Gravekeeper Spy that we knew was there. So Fusion just going, right, I'm going to flip it up. You know it's Gravekeeper Spy, so I'm not going to try and bother to. But
yeah, so probably something like a
Necro Valley.
Kaiku.
Or
that works
Warrior
too.
Lady does a trick. So that's going to put AlephYa down to 27.
Can't use Cyberstein anymore.
AlephYa needs to have Cold Wave plus, well, it needs to have a means of dealing with that back row. Otherwise, this is.
Oh, that's a good card.
This time, Tribe's going to.
Cyberstein's not good here.
And Widespread Ruin is going to deal with it, but Tribe has done its job of getting rid of the spies. So now we're going to see if AlephYa has. No, he's got monsters in his hand, I reckon.
Yeah, we know that AlephYa is always going to have at least one turn with this many life points, because Fusion, again, can't just drop BLS and instantly win.
Wow, Serpent. That Serpent's so good in this scenario.
Yeah, and Goat still works with Necro Valley.
Yeah, so for those, the interesting quirk about Necro Valley before its current printing is that it basically doesn't affect anything. If an effect is ready, if a card is already in the graveyard, and like since the Serpent, it can target itself. So it can affect itself and add Serpent back to hand. Whereas currently it works slightly differently. So
you really wish in this situation you had something to discard.
Yeah.
So I hope that that's not a dead face down. Otherwise, you'd be like, you're kicking yourself in the butt here, especially because this is the last duel.
Dust Tornado, but AlephYa is playing around Trap Dust Shoot, and he wins it.
That's the
Wow!
match.
So there we go. AlephYa getting yet another seeding point. Amazing. So I'm going to message these. I'm going to message them. So thank you to our top 4 for playing it out. So I'm going, as you can see here. Congratulations on your sterling performance yet again, AlephYa. But I'm going to see if our top 4 can join us. But if they can't, then I don't blame them, because it's touching on midnight for Chopper and AlephYa. So I just put the top 4.
Yeah, understandable. And I always say this, it's really great that we have people all over the world that enjoy this hobby with us. Germany and Canada and the US and Italy is another really big one, and all sorts of countries that are part of this Go format community. And it's really great to see the different all sorts of different kinds of people.
So you're going to have to excuse me for a moment, because I'm going to try and load up all the deck lists. So yeah, I'll just see if, okay, I'll instruct them. So I'm going to ask them if they can see
Right, so did you already introduce everyone that was in the Obelisk bracket?
Yep, I did. So
Okay.
yeah, I mentioned how everyone in the top 4. Oh, actually, whilst we're at it, I might as well cover. So I'm going to go over here. So we had Indoors, Moxies, Fusion, Chopper, Templar, Denosian. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. AlephYa and John Wick, aka Ivan Flores. Unfortunately, the other 4 got looking for the invite, got blocked.
Yep, everyone looking for the invite,
Yeah.
couldn't get it.
So yeah, as I touched on, Gravekeeper's engine. So instead of running Chaos engine, you're running Gravekeepers instead. Only one Blade Knight, which makes sense because you just search for them on demand, and you really want to stop your opponent from banishing. So you have 3 Kaiku, 3 Neko Valley, giving you 65% chance of opening 1 out of 6 target cards. As I touched on, there's Dust Tornado in the main, which always works well for all of these sorts of aggro decks. Surprisingly, no Book of Moon, but I completely get it, because yeah, you don't Spy's 1700 with Neko Valley. So yeah.
So one of the reasons that I only play 1 Blade Knight is one of the main cards you want to negate with Blade Knight is Magician of Faith.
Yeah.
And
who cares?
a lot of times you'll have Necro Valley in play anyway.
So yeah, sorry to butt in. Yeah, hi Fusion. Well, you already qualified for Worlds, but I mean, it's a shame you couldn't get the extra seeding point. But I think yeah, you mentioned it as you touched on. Magician of Faith is a card that you want to run over, but with Neko Valley up, Magician of Faith is not doing anything, as we saw in your match versus Chopper. I think it's pretty similar to the list that you used, if I'm not mistaken, a while back.
This is, I think it's card for card, the same list I played in GFC 12.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was going to say, you ran this. Yeah, so there's not really too much. Dust Tornado, I think. Is there anything anything in particular that hasn't been covered that you want to say?
Let's see. I think you pretty much covered everything. The main reason to play the Gravekeeper engine is, for one, it hates out the Chaos Turbo decks a little bit better than traditional Chaos Warriors, I think. And it also gives you a better variety of threats, which doesn't allow your opponent to streamline their sideboard plans. So this comes up a lot in the Warrior mirror match. The Warrior players often feel obligated to keep in their noblemans and their mystic swordsmen, because Spy is such a potent threat that they can't afford to cut those cards. Even though it's only one card in my deck, they're priced into playing these cards that are generally not good in the Warrior mirror matches.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, and the fact that you're not running Gravekeeper's Guard as well, which a lot of players, I reckon, when you think about Neko Valley Gravekeepers, yeah, you probably think that you have to run Gravekeeper's Guard, but obviously you don't need to because the Warrior engine already deals with monsters better anyway. And yeah, I think as I said on stream, Neko Valley just obviously stopping things from getting banished, stopping targeting cards, and then obviously giving your Gravekeeper's monsters a 500 boost, so actually making your 1500 monsters 2000 is actually quite difficult for Warriors to deal with without having to trade with Berserk Gorilla or Blade Knight, isn't it really? But I think, yeah, it's not really too much to say about the list. I think it's pretty solid. And yeah, if you know how your deck operates, then you're going to play it.
Yeah. I was really happy with how it did it GFC 12, and since then I kept playing the same list and never felt like I really needed to change anything. So
yeah,
I just ran the same thing.
Fair enough. So I have got. Do you want to say hello as well, Ch0pP? I can see Ch0pP is joined in. Unless.
Yes, can you hear me?
There we go. Hello. So let me scroll down to Ch0pP's list, which was interesting. It's as I touched on, having Magician of Faith in Warriors is not a brand new idea, but it makes a lot of sense. It's quite different to pure Warriors that you've been playing around with. I think the only noticeable omissions outside of Warrior Lady are Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke and Mystic Swordsman, which have been relegated aside. I mean, why don't you talk me through the list, Ch0pP? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Basically, I had a very precise meta call for this Obelisk. I was expecting to face some Warriors and some Chaos Control, Gold Control decks, and didn't expect to face Chaos Turbo. And in fact, only one player brought Chaos Turbo, and I didn't face him. So my meta call was correct in a way. And because of the fact that I didn't expect Chaos Turbo, I don't have to respect Chaos Turbo, and then I don't have to play cards like Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke and Mystic Swordsman level 2 in the main board. Most Warriors just play them because of the fear of Chaos Turbo. But since I expected my opponents to not bring it, I was free to bring a more tact deck towards Warriors and Chaos Control or Gold Control.
Yeah, I mean...
And that's why I ended up on this list. For example, Matase the Zapper is also a card that I played main board, because it's just a great card against Scapegoats or Thousand Eyes Restrict.
Yeah. So quick one for those that aren't aware. Matase the Zapper has a continuous effect which states that control of the card cannot be changed. If you're not sure on how it operates versus Thousand Eyes Restrict, check the rulings on the Blindly Loyal Goblin. So you can't take control. Not only can you not steal it with Snatch Steal or Brain Control, but you also can't take over it with Thousand Eyes Restrict and Relinquished. I mean, the other plus point about Matase is, few plus points. 2600 if on an empty board, As you mentioned, it's good against goats. You clear multiple goats, and it's a dark monster, which goes really well with chaos monsters. And I was actually going to say that Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke number 4, it just does the same job pretty much as Mystic Swordsman and Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke.
Yeah, exactly, and it is way
Albeit at a
better in the matchup versus other warriors because he can at least have the 50-50 to kill another monster, while the level 2 just always dies.
Yeah, and yeah, Magician, as I touched on, well, you finally. I thought you didn't run Warrior Lady, but I see you're actually running her this time around. And as you touched on, I think it's probably because you don't respect Turbo really.
Yeah, exactly. I think Warrior Lady is quite bad versus Turbo, but it's quite alright versus Chaos Control or Warriors.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why she's back in the list.
And Magician of Faith.
And
how is Magician of Faith? Well, we saw it on stream quite a few times where you're able to retrieve any of the spells that you pick up off Magician of Faith in this list are really good, obviously. Like
yes. Yeah, I think Magician of Faith actually worked really well. Also in my first game against Fusion, like round 1.
I was not expecting the Magician. I boarded out all of my set monster hate, and you ended up getting a lot of value off of them.
Also in this game, I ended up getting a lot of value with them. The problem was just that I misplayed.
Yeah.
I forgot that you could search out the piercer with the Gravekeeper Spy, so I didn't Solemn it. I think if I would have.
Sorry to interrupt.
Hello. I was going.
Can you hear me?
Finish off.
Yes.
Yeah, we got. Hi, AlephYa.
All right, perfect.
Manit Lord here. Congratulations once again for getting yet another seeding point.
Thanks a lot.
So, yeah, I mean, before I move over to AlephYa, is there anything else that you wanted to add that we haven't really covered, Chopper, or is that have we covered pretty much everything?
I think with the. Let me finish my point. I forgot to Solemn, or I forgot that the spy could search the piercer out, and then I didn't Solemn, and then I lost because of that.
Yeah.
That was a bit weak. And I think the rest of the warrior kind of explains itself if you know my read of warriors and chaos control instead of chaos turbo.
Yeah, Blade Knight, Exile Force, pretty much standard monsters, I think. Yeah. And yeah, Karen the Mage, I really like the card, and you got plenty of spells to pitch for it on demand, so I don't hate that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically a tech choice for Royal Decree as well.
Yeah.
And since I am running the 2 Book of Moons, which are not usually run, but I think are also great versus Chaos Control, I think I can afford to side into Chiron the Mage if I expect Royal Decree.
And not just that, Book of Moon, Magician of Faith, great pairing.
Yeah.
So yeah, can't complain. Yeah, I think that's everything covered. Spicy compulsory evacuation device. Not really much else to say. Anything else?
No, I'm fine.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Hi, AlephYa.
Hello.
I am bringing up your. I'm trying to find the right word. Concoction, I think, is the right word to use here.
Yeah, I just did the same because I also didn't have everything in my mind that I played.
So yeah, what a concoction! I was saying how it's very much like Zoo Beatdown, because you got Shark, you've got Gorillas, you've got Warriors, but you've also
that's pretty spot on. I think I'd also call the deck like Cold Wave Zoo. Pretty much, yeah. And yeah, the Steins, of course.
Yeah.
Added.
Good old Stein. I mean, yeah, and then we noticed on stream that you had your own embodiment of a post. I can't pronounce it. I'm not even gonna bother. My tongue's tied at this stage. Obviously playing really well. One thing that I'm a bit upset about is I didn't see Gigantus get into play.
Yeah, I always thought about playing 2 or 3 in this deck, but I don't think I have enough Earth monsters on board for 3 here. And yeah, of course, when I saw that my opponent played Necro Valley in game 2 and 3, they were instantly in the sideboard because too much death throw potential, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that completely makes sense, and obviously Royal Decree, your MVP, your best card in your side deck. What do you say?
Yeah, always.
um,
Can't stress that enough. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I always like Royal Decree myself because like I hate trap cards. I hate having to play through multiple trap cards, so I just want the option to go. Nope, you can't do that. Yeah. Is there anything that in particular that you want to point out about this mix, or well, this bunch of cards, I should say?
Well, I think the deck itself is pretty good, but it's definitely not 100% fine-tuned. I played also Cold Wave Zoo in the Slifer and Ra brackets too, but I made some changes after every league basically, or after every room basically, and I think the Cyberjar I threw in for Obelisk, I don't really like that because it's the only flip monster that makes my opponent's nobleman alive. I think I would kick that again. Yeah, and then still the 2 or 3 Gigantes debate. I initially ran Giant Red over Tomato to have more Earth monsters, but the play of letting my opponent run over Tomato to grab a Cyberstein and go off on my turn, that's something I really didn't want to miss out. So there's still lots of tweaks possible.
I was going to actually mention what you just mentioned about Tomato, and we actually saw it on stream where Chopper ran over the Tomato. Wait, was it? No, it wasn't Chopper, but I remember.
I ran over a Tomato and died next turn.
Snatched you on
Breaker. I think I managed to get. I think I didn't an OTK, but I got the King Dragoon out and could tribute the Cyberstein for Mobius later or something like that. That's something that I wanted to keep. To keep happening, because with Giant Red I can basically only grab the Exile Force, or I could throw in a Lily, of course, too. But I don't know. I didn't really like Lily in this deck, which is kind of weird, but it didn't really run good for me.
I guess when you're playing the Steens, then you're playing Substance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that if you really wanted to, in a desperate situation, you got a whole bunch of Earth monsters that you could summon off this from your fusion deck, and then if they die, then you just flop them for Gigantes. But
that's also sometimes maybe that's a weird line that could win the game for sure.
And then as I touched on the stream, obviously you need Book of Moon to go with the Royal Decrees, otherwise you're gonna die without your trap.
Exactly. I'm usually when I bought Decree against something like Warrior or so, I bring in the books, as you said, as a little defense, and I also like to play like super offensively. In that case, I bring in the second brain control and the Mobius and Jinzo. So I allow myself to take a hit from a Kaiku or a Warrior, and then really punish the turn after.
Well, yeah, I love Jinzo too. Like, I still have my DB1 copy, so I always want to fit in Jinzo, but it's just I guess you need the brain controls and stuff to support it. Is there anything else that you wanted to say?
Like super spontaneously now, I can't really think. No, I honestly can't really think of something super smart to say now.
Yeah, I mean, I just Goat format is at an all-time creative best, I think, at the moment, because obviously we're seeing this getting seeding points, and great to have everyone on.
I think Moxies hasn't
was-
has joined and had not had the chance to say something.
One moment, please. I was going to say, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself while I make the changes, Moxies? Go ahead.
I mean, I don't really have much to say. I just played a worse version of the deck I ran for my 3v3.
Yeah.
It was like a shitty mixed hybrid of what I was playing, which was a more warrior heavy variant that I played Manic with in the Goat Guys Grand Prix, which is like a 3 Sakushi armor. Chaos Control, then I kind of switched it for this one just because I assumed there was going to be less warrior kind of players and more like meta decks, and I actually regretted that because there was actually a lot more of like decks like Alphas and Ch0pP Fusion and Indoors that were all just decks that my first deck would have been better for. But I don't know, it's just a Thunder Dragon Chaos deck. There's not really much to say about it. It just does what it does and gets smoked pretty quickly if it draws bad. Like against my top 4 match against Fusion, I literally have Magician of Faith, Chaos Orc, and something else in my hand. I literally just got shut out by Necro Valley, and that was that. I don't play any outs to that except for MST and Storm.
Yeah, just dead cards basically, because with Necro Valley on the board. Actually, this list is not too far off. If you change a few cards around, I have pretty much the same list because I run second Kaiku. I don't run Tomato. I don't run creatures. Well, I don't main deck creature swap, I should say. I side the third Goats. I run Book of Moon. I run Dust Tornado. And I run Warrior Lady. So that's literally the only changes I have in my list at the moment. Yeah, as you say, pretty much standard. Not really too much to say. Yeah, is there anything else you want to add, Moxies? And before I cover everything else?
No, just congrats to the rest of the guys who made top 4. You know, it's nice. I personally, I don't know if you guys, I haven't watched any of the stream. I've been busy doing other things, but I don't know if you guys have talked about this earlier in the thing, but I'm actually a personal fan of the seeding system just because I think if we're at like 33 or 34, I think, people right now for Worlds, and you know, if we did pass downs, we'd be at like 50.
Yeah.
I'm not really a big fan of that. I think the Go community is small enough that like 50 would encompass like, you know, 15% of all the competitors, and that's just a little too much to me. So I like to pass down. It kind of gives people drives to play, right? Like Lucas and Alpha have now, like, you know, cemented themselves as like way ahead of everyone else. So it's kind of fun just to, like, you know, have another reason to keep playing instead of just getting your invite and then just like not playing anymore. And then when the people who have invites don't play anymore, then the rest of the tournaments are kind of downgrading the skill level. You know what I mean? So the invites become easier to get, and it just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of boring to me. I'm a big fan of the way that it's been this year.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting because before, obviously hand downs, I don't think should be too much of a thing, obviously. But yeah, it's like you said, the thing is that once you win a GFC or FLC or whatever gets your World's invite, you generally just going, right, I'm just going to take a chill.
I'd also say that I definitely agree with liking the seeding system. Yeah, of course, it's easy to say when you have like 4 or 5.
You, me, and Lucas have the most points, so it's kind of biased for us to say.
Yeah, but I mean, it will sound a bit like the snobbish or like a super elite, but I think like if it wouldn't be like this system and seeds would be passed down, when it gets to the end of the season, like when people would play like a 30-man WC qualifier, and someone would get like 6th or 7th place, and everyone in front of them would already have their invite. I mean, not to hate on getting 6th or 7th is still decent, but I think it would be kind of awkward if that would award an World's invite. So I like it this way.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I also like the fact that most of the Patreon championship qualifier got blocked by you or Lucas.
I mean, like there are certain things with it. Like I know Slash Tap has gotten like top 4 or 3 in like 3 different tournaments and done really well, and he's consistently, you know, put up a lot of good work and he technically doesn't have an invite from it. But like that's like an outlier case. Like most of the time it's not going to be like that. I do feel like the people who earn it are the people who, like sooner or later, if you play good, you're going to get it.
Well,
it was the same thing with Ghost Rider for almost the whole year until
Yeah.
the very end of
Ghost Rider.
last dueling
So he
book
snuck
ladder
in.
season.
Yeah.
AJ2 BLS as well, winning a Patreon event, and then as you mentioned, Ghost Rider finally getting his world's invite through ladder. It's a load of grinding, obviously, but it's just a relief. And well, I'm looking to get my.
But I think it's a bit sad that GoToMod.com is thinking about cutting the ladder invites, because I think generally also good players have gotten their invite through that, and it's another form that rewards like consistency more than a standard GFC, in my opinion.
One of the good reasons to not give invites for the ladder is that dueling book ladder is a very different game than playing in competitions. Like I specifically play not a completely different deck, but I play a different deck on ladder because I know that, like 65, 70% of the time I'm going to be playing against someone who isn't on a meta deck.
Yeah.
So to win in a field of like 35% good players and 65%
not so good
unknown players, it's just a different game than entering a tournament where you know that pretty much everyone's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, while that's true, for finishing relatively high, you still need to have a really good win rate over those players. And so I think that's also, if you are able to beat newer players, really consistently, I think that's like also a skill in itself. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Just go take those wins. I think definitely just take those wins as you just take a win. Any win that you get, just take it. You always can learn something from it, even if regardless of what happens. So yeah, I'm going to cover. I mean, if there's anything else that you guys want to cover, by all means, talk over. Have your add to discussion. I'm going to actually show some of the. Well, I've covered the top 4, so I'm going to have a quick glance over. Well, actually, I'm going to show you all the other lists if you're tuning into stream. So I've got here John Wick's list. Not really too much. Replacing the Mystic Swordsman level 2 with Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke, running to Book of Moon. I think this is pretty much a standard warrior list. And he is running a small flip engine package of two Dekoichi, Magician of Faith, and Tsukuyomi. He's got Azure Priest, Fairy Injection Lily, Mystic Swordsman, Smashing Ground, Mind Control, Bottomless Trap Hole, Dust Tornado, Magic Cylinder, and the third Trap Dust Shoot. So yeah, pretty standard list. Probably the spiciest card is the Bottomless Trap Hole that we saw this past weekend.
Hey.
So
you think the Bottomless is more spicy than the Magic Cylinder?
Honestly, the cylinder's pretty spice.
Yeah, cylinder's spicy.
I'm digging that cylinder.
Yeah,
I've seen him steal so many games with that.
I need people to steal some games with Ceasefire.
Outside, I mean, I kind of feel bad for Ivan. That list was never going to do well with the people that were in this tournament. And he ran into like the worst type of people. Like he ran right into Alpha's deck, and that deck just does weirdly well against warrior type decks. It just kind of eats them alive. And then he ran right into 10-ply right after, and 10-ply was on a CC with Decree main, so he just got absolutely just destroyed.
I'm gonna cover Dion Cian, I can't pronounce his name. What looks like a pretty much standard Chaos Turbo list with main deck Sakuretsu armor, expecting a heavy warrior match, kind of like lots of warriors, but I think one of the, having played with Chaos Turbo, I think if you want to go down the Night Assailant route, you definitely gotta kind of have to build towards it. I've seen, yeah, you soon find out what Ghost Rider was running in the 3 versus 3 event. But yeah, I think it's, if you haven't watched the video from Chris Perovic on Chaos Turbo and why, well, and kind of like the issues with Night Assailants, then go ahead, check his video out. But yeah, I can see it's heavily tuned to a warrior matchup with, well, with MST Sakuretsu armor. Although I don't see Breaker in the list. Yeah, there's no Breaker in the list.
I do
yeah,
want
pretty
to,
standard.
as a quick tangent, if I may, on a sorry, it's a completely different deck now, but on a forum, I actually got a warning from a mod before for suggesting that it was okay for someone to play Magic Cylinder because people are playing Solemn Judgments. So it's very interesting to see some people that are top players be like, oh well, it's not a bad, not horrible.
It's funny that, because I actually saw I saw Magic Cylinder in the main from DGZ Forever, and I'm not sure if Jonathan LeBounty had it mained in his warrior list. I'll have to yeah, we'll soon find out. But
I
yeah,
think he had it at least in the side in the Warrior he won the FLC with, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, it was the bottom card of his deck in the 3 versus 3 when he faced Insidious. That was pretty. No, I had to have another look. I don't know if it's Insidious, but yeah, that was pretty funny. So yeah, I think there's not really much for me to cover in this Chaos Turbo list. Probably the only interesting cards are Spell Canceller, which makes sense for spell heavy decks, and the Sings, but yeah, outside of that, seem pretty standard. Indoors with warriors, I think
it's called Monkey Train. At least P is calling it that way.
Yeah, not really too much special about the list. I don't really see anything that special about the list. It seems pretty standard to me. Probably compulsory. No.
Oh, that was yikes! That card really. Oh, that card almost caught me in the win. I was not expecting main deck Compulse. Absolutely destroyed me in game 1.
Yeah.
When I played him.
But this is the thing. This is where AlephYa going with sticking to Royal Decree. I can't not disagree with it.
That's
when
a lot
you're
of
seeing how many
purple.
trap cards some of these decks run, like triple of a lot of things. So yeah, yeah, I think pretty standard. But no, once again, no Mystic Swordsman level 2 in the main, no Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke, only one Blade Knight in the main. I guess this is more, yeah, and then usual suspects. King Tiger Wang, who probably will see more play if there's more scapegoat based decks. There's one back for burn. Yeah, I think pretty much standard. And here is Templai's list, which is, if I'm not mistaken, is pretty much the same as what Cameron ran in the Dell 100 special.
Kind of, but like, well, I mean, you know what? Not really. Only because Tenply was playing an actual. Wait, let me just look at this before I make sure I'm not spewing facts. But he's playing an actual CC list. Like, Cameron was playing a Go Control list. Like, he wasn't playing Thunder Dragons or any of that.
No, Templai in this Obelisk, according to this list, if you're having a look at, I'll probably have to share my screen. But yeah, he looks like he's not running Thunder Dragons, but he is running just bog standard warriors. No, bog standard Go Control. Looks like very much like Cameron's list. If I bring up the list,
oh my god!
I think it is a Okay.
I thought
so
I played him too, and I thought I was playing against
Thunder Dragon.
I thought I was playing against UC. What the hell? Okay.
So yeah, according to what I got, the only change that he's made is he's dropped Azura and the Koichis, one Azura and the Koichis for Mystic Tomato. I think that's probably the only real changes that were made, and
Yeah, damn.
yeah, it's
Well,
not really
shit.
too much.
No wonder why I beat him then. That's it. That list cannot beat a Thunder Dragon Chaos list. It needs extreme luck to beat that.
Yeah,
That deck is just too slow and it doesn't have explosiveness.
it's not the explosiveness. It's Chaos Sorcerer that's the real differential, isn't it? Really, because as we
But
saw,
just like none of these cards really like do anything to like a Thunder Dragon Chaos card. Like I don't.
The Koichis got swapped out for tomatoes.
Yeah, that's the only real thing that I see as well.
I think
How many
Tenply
months?
had
Yeah.
got a bit unlucky with his opponents, right? Because he faced
Yeah, he went against the Turbo player first round.
yeah
Right?
Dionysian,
Yeah,
and then you, and this were like his only bad matchups, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, literally the two worst people for him to play because he would this list would have done pretty good against all your guys' lists.
yeah. Chaos Turbo.
Yeah. The Gravekeeper
Chaos
Warrior deck struggles against goat control.
Yeah. So Chaos Turbo normally I find just absolutely blows out Go Control in terms of card advantage. So yeah, it's just anything. I mean, yeah, I think it's quite similar. There's not really too much to say about the list.
I like it. I think. I mean, it unfortunately didn't work out in this specific bracket, even though it could have. But I actually am a big fan of that list. I've been going and trying to build a go control type of deck, just like it doesn't have the pure explosiveness that Thunder Dragon Chaos Control has, but it doesn't brick nearly as hard. Like when I played Ch0pPr, I drew double TD in one of my games. I played Fusion, I drew like 5 cards that were all completely unplayable, even if he didn't have Necrovalley. That's one of the things about that deck that can be really, really bad. Is you really desperately need to like have turns to survive.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, that's why. Yeah. Obviously, you're gonna have a hand fistful of Thunder Dragons and or Sinister Serpent, without a discard card is kind of like just sitting there doing nothing. Yeah, I do.
It's just a lot of synergy. It's just a lot of different things going on in Thunder Dragon Chaos Control, and you're kind of just like hoping that they kind of work out. But then not a lot, but enough of a time, you just get hands of just half of what you need. Like you'll get Metamorphosis and no Scapegoats. You'll get Scapegoats and no Metamorphosis. You'll open BLS Sork and no Lights, and you just won't survive. It happens a lot.
Or you
open too much.
Yeah, or you open Vageki Break and you don't have discard fodder for it.
Yeah, and you have to waste something dumb on it or whatever. I mean, but then again, sometimes it doesn't do that. Like in the 3v3, I didn't have busted hands, but I had playable hands every single time. I never had an issue just playing the game, and I did really well in the 3v3. So it's like sometimes it works out.
Yeah, it's just luck of the draw sometimes, isn't it? Really. So yeah, is there anything else that you guys wanna say before we kind of like end the stream?
Yeah, a couple things. First, I want to just say that I'm really glad to see that it looks like there's been a lot of innovation among all the topping lists recently. We've been seeing a lot of crazy new brews be very successful. And then the next thing is I just want to shout out my team, Ring of Destruction. They helped me out a lot with building decks and play testing and stuff.
Good squad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so Fusion, is that to say, yeah, I think anything else?
I mean, whoa! If we're doing a quick little shout outs here, then let's be real. I got to hop in too. You know, I have a team I've got a team full of pretty controversial players sometimes in LRG, but they're all extremely high skill players, and I've made the switch over from Warriors to Thunder Dragon Chaos Control just as more of like a personal challenge to myself, because Warrior players take a lot of flack for being brain dead apes and not knowing how to play other decks, and then everybody has like a soft spot for Thunder Dragon Chaos Control and Goat Control as being the complete opposite of that. So it's became kind of a personal challenge to myself now that I have an invite to prove that, you know, just because I played Warriors doesn't mean I am like that. And I wouldn't have gotten nearly as far and wouldn't have got nearly as good without my team. My team is very skilled at that. So shout out to LRG.
Yeah, it's been refreshing to see moxies on Chaos Control, not gonna lie. Yeah. AlephYa, Chopper, anything you guys want to add?
I mean, if you
Go
okay.
ahead, yeah.
Okay, if we are at the shout out, then of course I also have to shout out my team Don't Ch0pP. And yeah, both Don't Copy and Pre are very great people, and we talk every day about decks, and I couldn't have come where I am today without them. Yeah, that was it.
All right. Yeah, I don't have a team, but I can shout out my brother as usual, who's deep in the studying grind, and that's why you don't see him that much recently. And of course, also I'm gonna shout out favourable, whom I talked with quite a bit about the Cold Wave Zoo deck that I played. We both shared some neat ideas, some spicy.
Sorry, who was that person you shouted out?
Favourable.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you pronounce it like that, but
Favourable. Okay.
I hope it was correct. Never said it.
That was the
Said it
winner
out.
of the last Obelisk, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Library. And
Also
moxies
really
didn't like.
tough.
So
Big fan of library. Yeah, not my deck, but that's also one for my brother, of course.
yeah, I mean, it's funny because I always say that Delinquent was one of the reasons why I've come to the empty jar build that I've come to. So yeah, it's his builds that I always kept an eye out on and got some pretty sick ideas. But yeah, yeah, I think that's yeah, I think everyone's done a really good job. It's a shame that everyone, well, it's just as well that everyone's got their invite, but it's just been some really good games tonight. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining in. Yeah, I think that's a good point for
Thanks
us
for streaming.
to stop.
Yeah, thanks for streaming and hosting, of course.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, to the viewers out there, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you at the next Obelisk, whenever that is. See you around.
Congratulations to Manic becoming the leader of Academy League.
Oh,
Cheers to that.
Don't remind me. Please don't remind me. Anyway, I'm going to be working.
Yeah, unfortunately, never get to use that ticket.
Yeah, I got a raw ticket and it's just going to sit there, do nothing. Yeah, let's see. Cool. Anyway, thanks everyone. I'm going to stop stream here.
Bye.
Bye.